Once upon a time in a land divided by conflict, there existed two neighboring kingdoms, Albion and Viridia. For decades, they had been locked in a bitter and unyielding war, each side seeking dominance over the other. The people of both kingdoms had suffered immeasurable losses and yearned for a day when peace would grace their lands. In the heart of Albion, a young and compassionate prince named Adrian, who had seen the horrors of war firsthand, was determined to end the bloodshed. Unlike his predecessors, Adrian believed that the path to peace lay not in further violence but in understanding and compassion. He dreamt of a world where swords were replaced by olive branches, and conflicts were resolved through dialogue and empathy. One day, as he wandered through a battlefield strewn with fallen soldiers, Adrian encountered a wounded Viridian soldier named Elena. Her once bright eyes now held the weariness of war, but there was an unmistakable glimmer of hope as their gazes met. Instead of reaching for his sword, Adrian offered her a hand, helping her up from the ground. In that moment, the prince saw the humanity that bound them both, regardless of their allegiances. Elena was taken aback by the prince's kindness. She had been taught to see the enemy as heartless adversaries, but now, her preconceptions were challenged. Adrian took Elena back to his kingdom and tended to her wounds, offering her sanctuary within the walls of Albion. As days turned to weeks, a bond formed between Adrian and Elena. They shared stories of their families, their dreams, and their desires for a peaceful world. The more they talked, the more they realized that their kingdom's grievances were rooted in misunderstandings and a thirst for power. Adrian knew that he had to act if he wanted to change the course of history. He decided to embark on a perilous journey to Viridia, guided by the hope that he could bring his vision of peace to the heart of the enemy kingdom. Elena joined him on this quest, acting as a symbol of unity and understanding between their two nations. Their arrival in Viridia was met with suspicion and hostility. However, Adrian's sincerity and determination began to chip away at the walls of mistrust that had been built over the years. He sought audiences with Viridia's leaders, appealing to their shared humanity and the devastation that war had inflicted on both lands. Slowly but steadily, Adrian's message of peace began to resonate with the people of Viridia. Inspired by his willingness to cross enemy lines to find common ground, a movement for peace spread like wildfire throughout the kingdom. The people started demanding an end to the senseless violence that had consumed their lives for so long. In an extraordinary turn of events, the leaders of both kingdoms agreed to a historic summit, hosted within the neutral grounds of Albion. Adrian and Elena stood side by side, a living testament to the possibility of reconciliation. It was not an easy journey, as old wounds ran deep, but the vision of a better future prevailed. After days of intense negotiations and heartfelt discussions, the leaders of Albion and Viridia signed a historic peace treaty. The war that had raged for generations finally came to an end. Adrian and Elena's bravery and determination had sowed the seeds of peace, and now, the people of both kingdoms could finally embrace hope and rebuild their lives together. As the news of the peace treaty spread, cheers of joy echoed across the lands. Albion and Viridia became united by a common purpose, to ensure that the mistakes of the past would not be repeated. They began the process of healing, reconciliation, and cooperation, focusing on education, trade, and cultural exchanges rather than warfare. In time, the kingdoms of Albion and Viridia became an example for the world, proving that even in the darkest times, the light of compassion and understanding can lead the way to a brighter future. And so, the tale of Prince Adrian and Elena, the soldier from the enemy land, became a legend of how two hearts changed the course of history and fought not with swords but with love for the cause of peace.